My husband's family insisted our wedding be in their language so I wouldn't understand a word. His sister laughed and said, "You don't need to know, just show up in the dress." I was 32, teaching English in Florence when I met Luca. He was funny, charming, and spoke perfect English. After a year and a half, he proposed. I said yes. His family is from a small town in Veneto, 2 hours north of Venice. They speak Venetian dialect, which is completely different from standard Italian. I'd been studying Italian, but Venetian? I couldn't understand a word. When we started planning the wedding, I suggested doing the ceremony in both English and Italian. My parents were flying in from Oregon. I wanted them included. That's when Luca's sister Chiara cut me off. "Oh, no. It has to be in our dialect. That's how it's always been. Can we at least do a translation for my family?" She looked at me like I was stupid. "You don't need to know. You'll get the general idea." I turned to Luca, expecting him to back me up. He just shrugged. "It's tradition, babe. You'll understand the important parts." From that moment on, I was shut out. Every planning meeting was in Venetian. I'd sit there smiling while everyone spoke around me. When I asked questions, they'd say, "Don't worry, we've got it under control." The worst part? They didn't use my name on the invitations. They wrote Luca e la straniera. Translation, Luca and the foreigner. My parents called confused. Is this a joke? I didn't have an answer. When I confronted Luca, he said, "It's just a funny nickname. They're not being mean," but they were. At every turn, I was reminded I wasn't family. I was being tolerated, not welcomed. About a month before the wedding, Luca changed. He stopped talking about our honeymoon. He wasn't affectionate. He seemed stressed, distant. I told myself it was nerves, but my gut said something was wrong. Then my best friend Cassie flew in. She's fluent in Italian. She came to a planning meeting with me and sat in the back. Nobody paid attention to her. That night, she pulled me aside. "They're planning something. I heard Chiara say something about putting you in your place." The tone was wrong. It wasn't celebration. It was control. I felt sick. We borrowed a program outline someone had left behind. It was in Venetian, so I hired a translator. I paid $200 just to understand my own wedding. When the translation came back, I cried. It wasn't a celebration. It was humiliation. The priest's vows said the bride comes from outside and must adopt, and she must follow her husband's guidance to integrate into family values. Chiara had a whole speech planned. "We never thought Luca would marry outside, but we've always been generous. We opened our arms to someone foreign." The word foreign appeared 6 times. Even the playlist had songs mocking Americans. One was about Americans putting ketchup on pasta. I cried that night. Then I got angry. Here's what they didn't know. I controlled the contracts. I'd paid for the venue in my name. I'd paid the $3,000 DJ deposit. I'd organized everything. I hired a translator for my family. Instead of whisper translating, I asked her to record everything. She agreed. Cassie recorded Chiara and the priest at rehearsal, pretending to film for Instagram. Then I rented a second speaker system, labeled it Emergency Announcements, programmed it for exactly 4:23 p.m. During Chiara's speech, wedding day came. I wore their grandmother's dress, heavy, old-fashioned, beautiful. My parents sat in the back. His family said guests of honor sat up front. That meant them, not mine. The ceremony began. My translator repeated everything. The priest called me the outsider, said I was being welcomed under mercy, that I was expected to be obedient. Then Chiara stood up, smiling. "This is our family. We are proud. We are united, and we do not change for others." People clapped. I looked at Luca. He didn't look back. The speakers crackled. My voice came on, live. "Hello, everyone. I've been asked not to speak today. I've been told I don't need to understand, that I'm a foreigner." Dead silence. "I've heard what you said about obedience, about how lucky I am. I've heard the jokes. I've read the program. I know what this wedding really was." Luca whispered frantically to his mother. Then I switched to perfect Venetian dialect and said, "But here's what you didn't know." And I walked out in their grandmother's dress.